Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds? I was just jigging along there in the background, and as I looked, I could see Lockie doing the same, and I was like, yeah, man.
Every time, mate. Good tune.
Yeah, man, always. Listen, how can I start without it? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for your big match preview. This will be a video that will be airing the evening before every single game we play with the late night Leeds crew, which is, of course, includes Lockie, Andrea, and Lloyd when he's not off gallivanting. But yeah, he's going. Where's he going tomorrow? Legoland. Was it Legoland? Yeah, Legoland. He's not going with his kids. He's just going on his own. But yeah, whatever floats your boat. I'm only joking. He'll be watching, of course. Listen, you got a dream team in the house. Andrea's got his new shirt. How are you doing, bro?
Great, mate. You're good.
Good.
Great.
Yeah,
Great to be with you and Lockie.
Yeah, exactly. And Lockie, listen, folks, we have got like a jam-packed Cardiff deep dive previewing. You know, like for those that are like layman's, like me, yeah, that are not super nerds like these two.
Yeah, Lockie has just drove back from Cameron.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He was at their training ground yesterday.
So think about like when we do the scouting report, and to be fair, the lads have smashed that. I owe flowers to Lockie as well, because his players keep getting picked up left, right, and centre as well. Carlos Borges obviously went to Ajax, so I need to show love. So we're going to do something similar with this in terms of the lads are going to do a deep dive into the opposition that we face. Obviously, we do the opposition preview. We hear it from their perspective, but that's quite like me just asking a few questions. This is deep dive section. So we will look into that, which Lockie's prepared this week. We'll give our lineups, our predictions, and we're going to run a little prediction table between us. So I'm thinking we'll do like a score prediction, first goal scorer kind of vibe for what we feel is going to happen. But before we touch on the game, let's first and foremost touch on the current mood within the camp, because these lads will tell you they've been very, very positive in our WhatsApp group. Yeah. I, on the other hand, have not. And I think I actually frustrated Lockie the other day. I was that negative. I was
just turned it off and left my phone.
He's angry. He's angry. He's like, I'm not saying anything, Joe. I was like, I think he's bit. But, boys, how are we feeling ahead of the game? How are we feeling? Who wants to go first?
I go. Okay. Yeah, we're feeling positive, you know. So I said that just to piss off Joe, but no, I really, I'm positive, honestly, because when the season starts, you know, it's always good because tomorrow is a different world game compared to the preseason matches, you know. And tomorrow is serious, and the real part starts. You know, it's not about tactics, fitness. Tomorrow the results matters, and. Yeah. I'm eager to see if what we see in preseason will capitalize and appear again tomorrow. Like for example, when we had the first season of Bielsa, you know, the preseason wasn't good, and all of a sudden, you know, that team materialized at Elland Road against Stoke. So of course, we need to see also how the team is able to you know to cope, especially with the championship level and without a striker, because we've seen yesterday Saints they struggled massively in the second half with Wednesday when Wednesday crowded in front of their area. So probably we'll face tons of teams that will play that similar style of play. Maybe Cardiff tomorrow will start and try to narrow the spaces and create crowd in front of there, like Wednesday did yesterday with Saints, and try to counterattack with all their paceful and fast wingers, because they have a lot, and Lockie will talk about that later, wingers. But yeah, overall positive, apart from the fact that we need, of course, a number 9 and a number 10. But yeah, like I said multiple times,
centre back and a left back and a centre midfield.
We need a lot of players. You need a lot of players.
We do, and we don't need to deep dive too much into that tonight because, like I say, we're going to focus on the game. But even Daniel Farke said it, didn't he, in his presser? He said, we need another centre-back, we need a full-back, we need a centre midfielder physical, we need a creative midfielder, we also need a striker. So the people in the right positions know what's needed. Let's see if the board give him the tools, basically, because, again, I'm saying I didn't want to go too much into it, but one of the things Parag said was, when Daniel Farke was in the Premier League, he never had the tools. We're going to give him the tools. So if that's true, they'll be giving him the tools in the Championship as well. So yeah, but Andrea, just staying with you, mate. Happy about Sam Byram? Obviously announced today, so that means he'll play. Or he can be involved tomorrow in some aspect.
Yeah, I'm happy because he deserves to sign the contract for me, especially looking at his experience. I've watched your short today, your video about him, and
do you know what? I'm so proud of them, by the way. It's good. I love them, man.
The part that I like the most is some people are saying that it's not an aggressive signing, it's not a proper signing, but look at his experience. He was a kid on the rise when he was with us. I used to be in the first years of high school, but then he was my favorite player because he was coming to the team, local lad too. And after he left Leeds, he played with West Ham and Norwich in the Premier League. He's always been a reliable player. The things slowing down has always been the injuries. And but looking at that overall, if he's fit, like we've seen it from him in pre-season, I think he's a reliable player, a decent one, especially because he can play on both wings. He can play on the left and he can play on the right, and not many players can do that. Have that versatility. So for that reason, it's also a plus for me to sign him. And especially he's an experienced player. He's already worked under Farke. He's one that also knows the place a lot. Of course, he knows the place. He knows the team. It's always a thing that always gets thrown often about this when a player returns to a former club. But Byram is real for me because he knows what the pressure at Leeds is, and he knows the system. He knows the system. So for me, it was a no-brainer really because he played well in pre-season, and if he's fit, he can be a very good option on the left. And I still think we need another one for sure because Yelde will play there, adapted so far. But if you look at the record, we have players who can play on the left. Byram there, of course, now he's fit, but he had some injury problems recently. Firpo is injured, and Dallas, who can play there, is injured too. So it's a little bit of a gamble with only an adapted one and a player returning from injury recently, and so for that, I still need we need another left back coming in.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Your thoughts, Lucky, on just Sam Byram being announced?
Yeah, it's weird. Farke's comments of it, was it yesterday in his press conference, made it sound like there's still Friday, a bit more discussion to go. But I reckon it was done yesterday. Maybe he just didn't.
Yeah, well, I think he had to be done by Friday in order for him to play. Now, I know they've announced it today, but I agree with you. I think it'll have been done Friday so that he's on the bench, or maybe even starting on Saturday.
But on him.
Or Sunday, sorry.
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I keep getting that wrong as well. It's like, again, squad option. I think in signings, we can't always expect to be a first-team star that will blow you away. Sometimes you just got to get the right people in to help with depth, which we do lack, obviously, with a lot. We've got 8 players injured currently. It's ridiculous. So to have Sam Byram as an option, maybe even a star, who knows, for the first few weeks of the season, isn't bad. It's not like we're relying on him to be a left back for 46 games of the year because he's not reliable. You can't do that. But to have someone in there when he's fit, you'll know he'll put a shift in, and he won't be a weak side in the team. He'll do his job well, and he'll understand the system. That's why Daniel Farke has brought him in, I think.
Yeah. And to be honest, when I've watched both him and Leo, I wasn't Leo's biggest fan, but he definitely grew on me. But I think for me, the more attacking of the two, and maybe that's because he is a natural fullback and also did play more of an attacking role at times, especially in his early starts at Leeds United, because he was one of the best players because the squad wasn't the best anyway. But a lot was put on him, and I think he gives us more attacking output than what Leo does. Personally, anyway, that's what my initial thoughts are. And like I say, that's his positioning. He's a natural fullback. So, yeah, good signing all round. 1 year deal. It'll be cheap as chips. He'll be on next to nothing. Just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. Carlos Alberto's just mentioned the EFL show on ITV now. I forgot to put it on my bloody planner. Hopefully it'll be on ITV. But of the championship you've seen thus far, folks, like obviously I did Friday's game. I've seen QPR get absolutely battered today by Watford. Norwich, Plymouth as well, coming up and beating Huddersfield pretty comfortably in the end 3-1. What has been your early take, Lockie? I know there's still 45 games left to go there's still, for the rest of the teams, 45. But can you hear me, bro? Are you still all right? I don't think he can hear me, can he?
Lockie? No, can't hear you.
No, he definitely can't. We'll come to you then. Andrea. What were your thoughts? Obviously, you mentioned briefly about the Friday night game and how, Chef Wednesday looked really, really poor in the first half. Didn't really have a clue. But one of the things I remember from my the White Rose podcast, they said about Russell Martin at Swansea having all style, no substance. And as we know, from that first half, they broke the record for the most passes in a half of football. But by the time Chef Wednesday had equalised, they had the same XG. So it just shows you can have as much of the ball as you want, but they didn't really create an awful lot. Although they dominated, they didn't create loads, did they?
Yeah, more possession doesn't mean dominate the game for me, because what matters the most in those situations is the chance you create. And apart from the goal from Tella, they didn't create much, even in the first half too, because Wednesday was really poor. To be fair, I expected better from them. Of course, they had a difficult situation with Moore going out and bringing in Cisco Munoz, and of course they are in trouble, and they really don't like the owner Chansiri, so they'll have to bring in loads of players still right now at this stage. But with a team with very little pace, like Wednesday, crowding in front of their area, Southampton never went vertically. Basically, they never went vertically, just ball possession, tiki-taka, tack, with Smallbone in the middle and Ward-Prowse passing to the wings and try to create something with the Dozy and Tella. And in the second, they were really lackluster, they were really static. And I haven't tweeted, in the second half, I think they should bring in Adams, because Armstrong is not a proper physical 9, and in those kind of situations, and that's why we still need a proper number 9. When there's little spaces, the number 9 can find the chance. They can create the chance in the middle of an adult. How do you say that? When there's when it's crowded around by the defense, we can find the space to shoot, like Adams did with the World Press pass. But really a lot of passes, but a little creativity going forward. So they had one moment of magic from Tella and that brilliant goal, brilliant control by Adams. But they didn't impress me. I expected much better with one still in the squad and another capped England international in Ward-Prowse and Walker Peters.
True. Yeah. Was there any from you, Lockie, not just on that game, but looking at the championship fixtures today, or results, if you like you say, Plymouth coming up and beating Huddersfield? I know Huddersfield, not Watford, smashing QPR. What are your thoughts on the state of the league currently?
Yeah, championship, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Middlesbrough losing as well to Millwall. Yeah. Well, I watched the West Brom game versus Blackburn. There we go. I watched the West Brom Blackburn, and Carlos got sent off because he was very frustrated. And the game was very scrappy in terms of quality, but it was one of them games where it's very even. There's no standouts outside. And West Brom, they kept the ball a lot of steel, but no real silk, no bit of quality in the end. Blackburn actually looked quite good, I thought. Decent balance when they got used to the game. They're really good at transition. So when they win the ball deep in their area, going up the pitch. They're very good at it. They're very quick and direct. Dolan's a very good player. There's a few of us as well that stood out. I think the Championship's going to be mental this year. It always is. But the first game of the season shows that I think most of them results wouldn't have been predicted. You know what I mean? Especially Middlesbrough and stuff like that. And just quickly on Southampton, I agree. It was, for me, it was very passive. I think a lot of that is down to the opposition you're playing. Like Sheffield Wednesday didn't allow Southampton to not have the ball. They didn't make any efforts to take it from them. So all they had, everything was in front of them. Like nothing was in behind.
No
there was
pressing.
no pressing. But then when they had the ball, there was nothing, a different plan. It was the plan, pass and pass more. That's fine. But against sides that will press you and will be very aggressive, like us, like Blackburn from watching them today, like West Brom, you have to have alternate plans. And I'm interested to see whether they have that. Because it's all right looking pretty, that's fine.
Jack Stevens and Bednarak can be got at, can't they?
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, you saw that. Sheff Wednesday were terrible, right? But the 2 or 3 times
second half, they did it a little bit. And
when they did, they got there quite quick and quite easily. There's not enough physicality in that Southampton side for me. And Farker spoke about physicality in his press conference. You need it's not necessarily strength, it's the power, it's the speed, you know, that type of player, a big player who can move everywhere. It's that type of physicality. So we definitely need that, and a lot of other teams will as well. A lot of teams won't be ready yet. A lot of teams will be struggling.
Yeah, and surely Lavia is leaving because he was on the bench 100%. And it was a game that was crying out for Lavia in the second half.
You'd play him, wouldn't you, if he was staying?
Yeah, exactly. He was going to play, but I agree on Stevens and Bednarek. They are really slow, and I said no pressing, but actually when the ball went they went on the wings, you know, the pressing was there, 2 players on the wings, on the wingers. So they didn't. It was a good setup defensively, and they didn't allow many chances from Saints. But in the end, they were punished by those 2 moments, those 2 episodes. You know, but overall, too, I think looking at the results of today, also Stoke City 4-1 versus Rotterdam United. I think Stoke have moved really well on the market so far. They brought in May, they brought in Stevens, and Stevens from Sheffield United. So I think they have a good team too. They are one team that should be watched, you know, because it's a little bit going under the radar right now, as well as Bristol City for me. They drew 1-1 against Preston today, but I think it's another team that has moved smartly on the transfer market. I didn't expect, to be fair, despite I don't rate Huddersfield right now, I didn't expect them to lose 3-1 at Plymouth, to be fair. For me, Plymouth, of course, they have maintained the core of last season when they got promoted, you know, from League One, but they don't have players with that lot of championship experience. So maybe we'll see how much that will cost them, you know, throughout the season if they don't bring in the right players. Because, of course, today, for the first day of the season, anything can happen. Really, anything can happen, you know. We've seen Millwall winning at Borough, you know. And despite that, Millwall, of course, last season missed the playoffs, but were always a team fighting and with a lot of passion on the pitch and organization too, because they were a really pretty organized team. So honestly, like you said, it's a championship. You know, it's difficult against every team, basically every team, especially going away. But really, also Hull City losing in the last minute at Norwich. I said that I really rate all this season because I think they brought in good players like Sinik.
He's well thought of, Racine as well, isn't he? He's playing a certain brand. I know he got sent off.
He got sent off as well. That's 2 managers in one thing.
Yeah, mad. Yeah,
and Norwich too. I think Norwich and Null was the best game of all of those of today's matches. You know, because I think those 2 can also be one of the 2. Can be 2 teams in contention for the playoffs too. And Norwich even better for me because I think they have a very good squad, and especially defensively, I think they have a lot of experience. But going forward, Sara, Marcelinho, they have some of the players they used to have in the Premier League. So honestly, it's very open, you know. Early stages, first game of the season, but it's fascinating and exciting.
Yeah, just because Mike Hargreaves just asked there, can you guys talk a little bit about the new time rules? And I do just want to touch on that as well, because obviously doing the watch-alongs and obviously seeing the games today, like, for example, I was watching Sky Sports News and it was still going on because they were like, "Oh, I'm still in added time here. It's going to take a while to get used to it." But I suppose for a team like Leeds United, this suits us down to the ground, right? Because
high intensity, yeah.
100%. Because we know especially under Bielsa, I know it's not, but it's a similar brand.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams would time waste against Leeds United, even in the Premier League. I mean, Wolves were brilliant at it. The fact that they're not going to be able to do that now, like for me, for a footballing side, for a team that wants to keep possession of the ball and keep the game moving, then for us, like it's a massive positive, these new rules, right?
Yeah, and I was watching the West Brom game. There was 6 minutes in the first half.
Yeah.
9
Normally
minutes.
Regardless, you get like a minute or two in first, don't you? And then
literally.
maybe 5 at the second.
6 minutes, then 9 minutes in the second half.
Mad.
That's what fitness. That's where the fitness comes in. The last 10 minutes of the game, but now there's extra. Yeah. So, and there's a multi-ball system as well in the Championship this year. So even throw-ins and that are going to be a lot quicker. That'll suit us to the ground. It really will. It'll be harder to see games out. Don't get me wrong. You've got to be smarter in different ways, like substitutions or just winning fouls and stuff like that. But yeah, I love it, mate. I think we want to watch more football, don't you? We want to see more football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No time wasting, and especially with all those length added time, you don't need a lot of depth because you'll have games of not 90 minutes, but 100 minutes even. Like yesterday, 9 minutes of added time in the second half. So it's like the World Cup, and it was fun actually because the game is not over till it's over, and there's always time. We were famous for that during that first season. When we came back against Blackburn and Millwall in injury time, and yeah, it's good for me. Sweet. Good positive news. Yeah,
definitely. Joseph Tiffany mentions in the comments as well about yellow cards for kicking the ball away now as well, which is something to think about because there was yesterday I think Patterson did it. And then Adam Armstrong did it as well, like within a minute of each other, even. So I think that's something. I guess the players will get used to it, but again, that's going to be a plus, isn't it? It's just these little things, little increment gains that are going to improve the game overall for me, and especially for a team that wants to have the ball in play and wants to, keep possession of it and just be a better side all round. When you're a better side, like it is what it is, and I guess. That for us as well, like we're going to win some games of football. And I've looked across the Championship now and I'm like, do you know what? We're going to be all right, man. We're going to be all right. Because like Sheff Wednesday, they were bad. Man.
I was getting angry watching that, seriously. Wasn't it?
It was like out to the right-hand side and then ball into the box. And the balls were always shit. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I don't mind teams playing deep and having a shape, but when you have the ball, what's the plan?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And you can play with Fameu as a fullback. Honestly, you simply can't.
Defensively, they were poor, weren't they? Like even like the passing out from the back and that. I remember the first 10-15 minutes I was on the watch along going, this is bad. Like the quality's so bad.
Every team, Joe,
watching the Premier League.
Every team is trying to play out from the back. Both West Brom and Blackburn did it today, and 2 of Blackburn's goals came literally within 60 seconds from West Brom trying to pass a ball out from the back twice. It didn't work. It's fine, all right, doing it, but you've got to have the players and stuff like that.
Right now, 4-2-3-1 is like the common formation. Everyone goes for it.
Everyone's an inverted fullbacks and everything now.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. It's true. Pep does something, they all want a piece of it.
Literally.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's like even Klopp in the Premier League. It's like if you can't beat him, join him. He suddenly just started playing Trent there last season, didn't he? And there was
Now Pep's upped it one, and he plays John Stones in centre mid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll see Van Dijk playing Cam this season.
Honestly, Stones. I think you should play him in the national team in that position too.
He's phenomenal. He's so good.
It's amazing.
For me, you have to play.
Great,
it's against Italy because, of course, we'll lose at Wembley probably, but I'll play him in that position. Yeah, no, we're bad right now, lads. We're bad. We're bad, trust me.
Look forward to it. I look forward to it, bro.
I don't.
Formula Sonny makes a good point. He says, Joe, somehow I can't see Neil Warnock using inverted fullbacks. That's a fair point, Sonny, yeah. Can you imagine?
Not
if
Neil
you're in
Warnock.
Changing room, what are you going, what are you doing in centre of midfield?
What the bloody hell's that?
Kick it out. Right. We've done 25 minutes of absolute gobbledygook now. Let's switch it over a little bit, and we're going to hand over to Lockie now, who's taken some time to give us a bit of a look on Cardiff. And just as I've said that, oh no, he's with us. He is still with us. Here we go then. Let's go, bro. Over to you, Lockie.
Right, so I've watched about 2.5 hours of Cardiff in the last few days. There was a 90-minute game.
I feel sorry for you, bro. I feel sorry for you.
It wasn't pretty.
And now he speaks Welsh.
Definitely not. I can't even speak English, mate. So,
Borada.
what's that mean?
Yeah, it's just hello. I think good morning.
I know.
I don't even know, but I know it's nice. I know it's nice.
Yeah, so I watched the Porto game in which they lost 4-0. Obviously, they actually weren't that bad. I'll go through that in a minute. And I watched highlights of the Wycombe game from the other day, which they lost 1-0. One thing that stood out straight away before I get into it is a lack of goals scored. In fact, in the 3 games I've seen, they didn't score a goal. They lost Braga 1-0, Porto 4-0, and they lost, or did they draw to Wycombe? I can't remember. It was one of the two. But yeah, it was 0-0, I think. So really lack of goals. Now, what I found from the team, Errol Brut is their manager. Came from Turkey, doing a lot of decent stuff in Turkey from what Cardiff fans have said. Worked for teams that have struggled with low budgets, so this works perfectly for him. Very adaptable coach, but what I've seen is either a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1 this year. The 4-4-2 came against Porto before Aaron Ramsey played, so they play with 2 up top in that game. But since Aaron Ramsey's been there against Wycombe, they actually played a 4-2-3-1 with obviously Aaron Ramsey playing in the 10 role as that playmaker. Obviously, this is the team I'm presuming will start. Callum O'Dowda, we know that name, is now converted to a left back, very attacking left back though, so he'll be a danger. You've got Gutaz, is that how you spell it? Gutaz? Gutaz, is that right?
Gutaz.
Yeah. Good player, very good player for them. Did he win? It was in the team of the year in the Greek league?
Yeah, I think we spoke to a Cardiff fan from the Bluebirds podcast. I think he'd made the team of the year over in was it Turkey he was in, or
he came from Sivasspor in Turkey last season.
Turkey, yeah. So I think he played really well there, and they were raving about him up to this point. Anyway, obviously he'll get his debut tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm presuming he's going to play. Mark McGuinness, them two seem like the fairly solid centre-back partnership that they'll have. Perry Yang, I've put on the right side between him and Romeo, but Romeo got back later from international duty, so I believe Perry's going to start. The middle is an interesting one. I think it's Joe Rolls. He was their captain last year. Whether that'll be Ramsey or him this year, I'm not too sure. But he's their kind of deep line ball playmaker, you know, not isn't creating chances, but starting attacks, spreading the ball out wide. Ryan Wintle is ball winner, you know, doing that dirty work, hard running. Aaron Ramsey, we know Aaron Ramsey is their creative player. The front three is interesting because a lot of Cardiff fans are not too keen on Shea Ojo from what I've seen on social media. The game I watched against Porto, he was on fire. I think he'll start on the right, inverted winger. On the left is a bit of a question. I think it might be Carlon Grant. He can also play up top. Also inverted winger, which are 2 big things I'll talk about in a second. Up top, I've gone with Callum Robinson, but they have 2 or 3 decent strikers who could do a job in that role. So that's what I presume. Andrea, you got any things about the starting lineup?
Yeah, honestly, I like O'Dowda too, because he's a very good friend and he's also getting games and Kenny right now in the Irish team. And Rouse is still the captain. It's also, formation where the 2 fullbacks will move forward because they have that in those characteristics. Also, O'Dowda is a natural winger. Used to play consistent midfield when he was at Bristol, and before that, I think he was at Oxford, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I agree with Callum Grant on the left because, of course, he used to play as a number 9 too. But for me, with his characteristics, and I remember a goal he scored at West Brom too. He likes to start on the left and turn into his right foot, and is very good in doing that. Honestly, Ojo, of course, is a good dribbler, good player, but They've got Bowler in too now from Forest. I think Ojo will start too. I agree with Loki, because if you look at their starting lineups in the friendlies, in the preseason friendlies, they played 9 games, I think, in preseason. So it was a very long one. They had a tour in Portugal and then played the last preseason game versus Wycombe in the Joe Jacobson testimonial. Ukbo, actually, I think will start as the number 9. I don't think Robinson will start in the number 9 position, because it's one of their top signings. Of course, we know that they had that problem of the transfer embargo because they didn't pay the sum of the transfer of the late Emiliano Sala, because we all remember what happened, that tragedy. Ukbo, actually, they got him from Troyes in the French league. They got relegated last season, but he's a good player, actually, and he's their typical number 9, as well as Etete. But I think they start with Grant, Ojo, and Ukbo, because Robinson, I think, will come on in the second half for me. And if you look at the wingers too, Bowler is a good dribbler. Meite is a good dribbler. Got him from Reading, and Bowler is on loan from.
I think Meite injured. I think Meite might be injured.
Yeah, there's Meite and Colwill, McGuinness, and Sawyers too. They had they had some problems, but they are in contention. Bluth said in his presser that he thinks they will be available. The only one in doubt might be Sawyers.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Put him in the red down at the bottom.
Yeah. So if McGuinness doesn't start because of he's coming back from an injury, probably Simpson will start. Jack Simpson.
Ryan Alsop as well. Their first team keeper is injured. He will not play. Exactly. That's been confirmed. So
I think just to go back to the lineup as well, Lockie. I think quite for me, obviously looking at it, it's quite mad really, because the last time we were in the Championship, Carlon Grant and Robinson were doing bits at West Brom. Carlon Grant also spent some time at Huddersfield. Obviously, Andrea mentioned as well Callum O'Dowd. I always remember him doing bits at Bristol City. So it's mad how much things have changed really. But yeah, I mean, look, as a fan, say a couple of years ago when we were in out, because I said this at the Cardiff preview at the time, when the fan, I was like, when you mentioned that front three of Robinson, Grant, Ojo, I was like, bloody hell, that sounds pretty dangerous on the counter, But
sure,
yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, they've got a decent side. They've got some decent players of Cardiff. As you can see with the depth there, Josh Boy, can't speak. Bowler, he's a really direct, decent dribbler. So he's one to watch. Ollie Tan is very quick as well, I believe. And Etete played a little bit pre-season and looks quite not a great goal scorer, but very dangerous going forward, quite quick. Anything else on that, Andre, before we move on?
Well, I agree on that. I think they are covered in almost every position, and they have good options, good alternatives too. Also, Rino Mott exactly was born in Leeds, and we know very well, especially from Tavernier last season versus Bournemouth, that the Leeds-born players or Leeds fans have the habitude to score against us. So hopefully Rino Mota doesn't. I think you start if Ferraz is not fit enough to start with them. I think they will go with Rino Mota and Wintle. Also, Kieran Evans, their youngster, has played a lot of games in pre-season, so they talk about him. He's a Welsh junior international. So also the other players in contention for me will be the right back position. Of course, you said Romeo. That might be the reason. The fact he's back recently from international duty, because I'll start him honestly over Ng, Perry Ng. Also on the left one, Collins and O'Dowd. I think that there's a lot of players. There's a lot of pundits too that I've seen a lot of predictions of Cardiff relegated in the relegation fight. I think they have, especially in the situation they cannot sign permanently players from another club, and they have to bring in free agents and players on loan. I think they have moved pretty well. I think it's a good side and can easily finish mid-table with no ease, for me. And it'll be a good matchup, good first test, because a team like that is the typical championship side, and tomorrow facing a team like that would be the perfect start for me, because it gets our team right to the Championship mindset, because these are the teams we're going to face. These are the type of formation we're going to face. So yeah, it would be a good
when you mentioned that there, Andrea, like if you think about it, someone mentioned it earlier. We will play 3 games in like 8 days. So
Wow.
that's like welcome to the Championship. Obviously, play Cardiff today. We've got Shrewsbury Wednesday, I think, and then we play Birmingham away on Saturday. So it's like welcome to the Championship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're well and truly back, aren't we? So
Yeah,
I'll move on to their style of play, what they will do, and then eventually how we beat them, because that's what we all want to hear, don't we? So yeah, I've gone out possession phase 1 first. So this is part 1, the ball. Part 1, the ball there. This is the shape that Cardiff played quite a lot in pre-season from what I watched. It's a very narrow defensive shape. I put term mid-block. But it's kind of a high mid-block in a sense because it's quite high up the pitch. You remember what we played against Brighton? Similar side to that, when we played quite high up. So what they will do is they will pack out the midfield, create a box around the 2 midfielders to force you to go wide, right? This is where the option will be. This is where the space will be. But what they do very well is they won't press, or they haven't been. I'm not saying they won't. We don't know what will happen on the day.
Yeah, of course.
Typically, they haven't been pressing in pre-season, but what they've been doing is creating a good shape in the midfield here.
So can I? Sorry, because I just think it'll help. So in this scenario, them two is that Ampadu and Gray is what we're saying.
So
and then
like we saw against Hearts, they did a similar thing in terms of they marked Ampadu out of the game predominantly. So that would ideally be Archie Gray and Ampadu, or we might play different shapes. So it might just be Ampadu in there. But the idea is they want you to go wide. When you go wide, Sheojo will press hard there. If you go into midfield, the midfielders will be tight on these guys, and that's when they press. Their trigger is when it goes into midfield to press. They will force everything wide. Now, going to the second phase, so this is when the ball comes, they play it back out, then they go back across. And as you can see, still the same. The 2 midfielders, they dropped into a 4-4-2. There's the 2 there in front of the 2 midfielders, blocking anything off created through the middle. If it does get to them, these 2 are ready to pounce. The only space now is the width or over the top, which is what the Porto keeper chooses to do. So I'm presuming this is how they will play against us. They might switch it up. They might go for a press, but I doubt it, given this is what they've done pre-season. So this is obviously state phase 2. I'll now go into in possession. Now, and I'll go into what we do to counter that after, just to clarify. So in possession, they're quite a good ball playing side, or they try to play football, which I was actually shocked about watching the game, because you just presume in your mind, don't you, that Championship won't be like that with Cardiff. But actually, the coaches established a real good style of play. The centre-backs will happily keep the ball around the back. They don't care about that. They will keep it for as long as they want. The trigger now is this guy in here. Will that be Rolls? Will that be another player? But predominantly, it will be Rolls. Is it Rowles or Rolls?
Joe Rolls. Joe Rolls.
Yeah. So what they will look for is they'll do 1 or 2 things. They'll wait for the press, and then that's the trigger. So the midfield in this, I can't show a clip, but the midfielders all moved forward quickly when the ball went to the centre-back. That was the trigger, which created these 2 guys to force a press, but then their midfield wasn't ready for the Cardiff midfield to go forward, so they're left behind, which creates space for Joe Rolls. Now out here is you can't see off the picture, is Sheojo, who is in loads of space. His instant look was get the ball, go straight out wide. They didn't even bother about looking up the pitch. It was initial, where can I go with the ball? Out wide. So I expect this in here has to be tight, whether that's Somerville in there, Ampadu, Archie Gray. Their predominant attacks will either come from a ball straight to the wingers directly, or through the midfield, then out to the wingers. So we have to be careful of that.
And would that be so it get fired into him, and like you say, it's just looking first time, bang, straight over.
It's poached into them. They'll know exactly. As soon as the ball goes in there, Sheojo will know exactly where to go. The fullback won't.
Right.
Exactly.
The fullback won't push up yet because he don't want to create, lose the space for Rojo. But he will be out here as well. But they will constantly keep the ball if they have to. Now, what happens after that is this. So that's the ball's come from there, straight out to Sheojo here in the red, very wide. So now Callum Robinson, the striker, is come from in here and is creating that run out wide. Because now this defender has to go with him. This defender is obviously going to go JUSTJOE, which creates space inside.
Okay.
And also what I liked about Cardiff, God. What impressed me was this movement. So JUSTJOE's initial thought is straight inside. Get rid of this guy. Give Robinson the space out wide. All inverted. The wingers are all inverted. Everything will be inside from the wingers. There'll be no outside. That's where the strikers create the width when the winger has the ball. Now, what this also does is create space for the other striker to just find an area in here if there's a pass on, right? Keeping the width as well. Very wide front four. That's one thing I got. Creating 1v1s, like a 1v1 here. When Robinson gets the ball eventually, which I'll show in a second, it's a 1v1 with the defender. They'll be big on either getting the ball at the edge of the box when they're there, crossing it or shooting near the edge of the box. They're not going to play 15 different passes in your own half. They'll go for 1v1s and direct running at you.
Right.
And that's why Callum Grant and JUSTJOE are inverted wingers. Go on, Andrew.
No, just a quick one. Also, I think it's that one in the middle. It took Bonnie at a certain circle, I think. Another one, the one up there, and also Robinson when they didn't have Ramsey, play like a not number 10, like a second striker, Yeah. And you see the second striker moves a lot, where the number 9 stays central, and like it's exactly what can be tried in the future with Trotter. I think when we bring in another number 9, Trotter can do what Robinson is doing here, trying to
free
find
roll,
spaces and a free roll, exactly.
Yeah, it was quite. That's the only reason I put Robinson in the starting, because actually his movement was really good. He also came to feet as well. Sometimes when the centre back has the ball, Robinson would just drop into these spaces and pick it up and then turn. So I was quite impressed with him. Yep. So the third phase is this. So obviously JUSTJOE's tucked inside, 3 defenders attracted to him. And look at Robinson's space out here to drive. I'm not even on the thing. Robinson's space there. So these guys are interested in him. They want to cut this space off in the middle, which the run from Robinson is really smart. Now it's a ball through, as you'll see. Boom. Gets the ball in this position. Another 1v1, space, tucks inside, looks for the shot. This is what they'll try to do to us. They'll try and exploit our fullbacks in 1v1 situations. That comes predominantly, not all the time, but predominantly from the guy in midfield. So we cannot allow space in midfield. So now I've put there, how do we beat them, right? So we'll start off with this one. The red dot is just where the ball is, because it's quite blurry on the picture. So this is the centre-back. And what he did was he slowly progressed towards their block to try and entice them to press. What he did, this guy stepped up a little bit too much. The second he stepped up, the ball came straight into midfield to this guy here, who I've highlighted, who you can see has not a lot of space, but enough to do something with it. And this is
so just one sec. Go back, right? Okay, so what we've done is the centre back. So in our case, might be Liam Cooper.
Yeah.
Instead of knocking the ball between him, Elliot, Creswell, he might be enticed to go, do you know what? I'm going to engage them, right? So he's then gonna bring the ball out. So we've seen, for example, in pre-season, we've seen Creswell on the right, we've seen Stroud do it a few times. They will progress the ball into the middle of the park, for example.
Yeah.
And what you're saying there, then, Lockie, where that red dot is, that then entices the midfielder to go and engage, at which point it then frees up a player, right?
Yeah, exactly. And all it needs with a good player in there is all they need is 2 or 3 meters of space here. That's all they need. Of course, And in this case, the centre back gives the ball to the midfielder, who then attracts 3 players around him. The number 9 drops from the line and comes short. And because these 3 midfielders are attracted to the ball, the space in here you can see now.
The other centre mid can run in there. Yeah,
exactly. And it's been vacated, and then after that, the guy gives a ball through 1v1 here. So what we have to do, in short, and then obviously it creates 1v1. They did score from this eventually. He scuffs the shot up. But
so what I'm seeing here, bro, right, is I'm seeing Cooper brings it out. He passes it into Ampadu. Ampadu finds Cini, who's cutting in from the left, who puts the ball straight through for Willie Nonto to score, and it's 1-0 Leeds United. That's all I'm seeing, bro.
So and I'll explain that right now. So key strength is Callum Robinson. I've got His movement, I was impressed with. Whether he starts or not, whether he comes on, he'll be a danger in the game when he's in the game. Whoever plays that role, that kind of free and in between the 9, that will be a danger because their movement will be expressive, they will be direct, and they'll create spaces. Carlon Grant is he's got a very good strike on him. You know what he's going to do. He's going to cut inside and have a shot. So we have to be really tight on those wingers. We have to be careful of those movements in behind. 1v1s, exploiting the width. Again, it's the same thing with the fullbacks. We've got to be on it in that position. But also it starts from rolls, so we've got to stop it at source. How do we do that? For me, that's with a press. That's with an aggressive press. They give 2 goals away against Porto because they tried to play out from the back. Porto caught them with pressing and then scored 2 simple goals. And they also give a penalty away with a similar thing as well. So we have to be good in the press. The issue is, if we do press them aggressively, they will look to play in behind the press in between the centre-backs and the midfield. That's where they'll exploit you with the width. So the press has to be good. We have to be secure. If we don't, they will score goals. They're a dangerous side, like I've said. This is my analyst brain on now. I'm not saying we're going to batter them. They can be a good side. They can damage you. How we beat them? Off the ball movement. What we're good at. What we've been doing in pre-season, we have to do that well. The front four's movement is vital in this. So when we have the ball at the back, the movement of the midfield, but the movement in behind the midfield to create passes, right, through the midfield. Maybe we avoid the entire midfield and go straight to Somerville or straight to the winger. The movement of the front four, whoever it is, has to be good. It has to be precise. It has to be aggressive. That is important. If the movement is static and the players are a bit like, where do we go? We won't break them down. We just won't. So the movement is vital. Hard press them. They've shown in pre-season they struggle against that. They play out from the back at times if it's on. Press them in those cases. Patience with the ball. Just be patient. We don't have to create 20 chances. Keep the ball. If they're letting us keep it, let's wait for the gaps to appear. And then when it's on, make that pass. 2 or 3 inches, Ampadu, give the ball, turn, play it out. Simple.
Do you know, just on that, as well, the patience with the ball. And I know we said right at the start about Southampton's XG being almost similar to Chef Wednesday, but what I heard a lot of while doing the watch along was a lot of people were saying Southampton ain't all that. But if we're being honest, in that first half, they absolutely dominated that game. And you've seen in the last 10 minutes when they were 2-1 up and the game was won, they managed to keep 95% possession to ensure that they've seen that game out. So I think, when you talk about there, I know Southampton only won the game 2-1, but you would argue they were like that, right? They were pretty patient in their build-up, right? It wasn't a case of let's just go to goal.
Yeah, once they never touched the ball in injury time.
Yeah.
It's what a top team does, It's I think their mentality is like we score one more than them. We don't have to keep attacking. Even when they scored the first goal, they. And ultimately, that was their mistake, when they conceded to Lee Gregory. They didn't, they just controlled, they didn't attack, and they didn't add verticality. But if I can add on Cardiff, I think another thing that will be crucial will be the number 10 tomorrow, because, of course, like Loki showed that they crowd around the holding midfielder, and that will be Ampadu. And we've seen something similar with Arts. I think it will be crucial that the 2 wingers and the number 10 will get, especially the number 10. The number 10 needs to drop back and help in terms of trying to move their formation and help Ampadu to create in terms of trying to make his marker follow him, the number 10. I think Sam will be that player, and especially when we move forward. Yeah.
Sorry, just to ask a question, Andrea. Will it be, say, if it's Somerville, will it be his task as well? Do you think to be the man engaging roles when he's got the ball? Is he the one that's going to have to be sort of touch tight on Joe Rolls?
Yeah, because the natural one will be Gray, in my opinion, but you risk to leave Ampadu to alone in the middle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think I think that's why we need a proper number 10, because the proper number 10 physical one can do box to box, drop back, start and break the pressing too, because we've seen that they press when other teams, in that case Porto, start the action, they press. Then, of course, if the press gets beaten, they will drop back and do what Sheffield Wednesday did yesterday. Try to create narrowness and the crowd in front of their area and trying to force you on the wings, and especially on the wingers. The two ones that will play, I think they will need to go towards the ball often in order to free the space for our fullbacks to get in behind, I think, because we've seen that's how also you beat narrowness centrally with verticality from the number 10 and I think wide with the two fullbacks. The only problem in that will be trying to find balance, because we've seen that they had Ojo and Grant probably on the wings. If you leave some spaces open, in that case with the two attacking fullbacks, you need to find balance, because maybe Ayling attacks and you have Yelde on the other side trying to help the midfield, because when Yelde played, he was like a third midfielder and gave balance to the whole team. In that case, if you have Byram and Ayling, I think Byram will go forward and Ayling will stay a little bit back in order to help the midfielders, because you have to find balance. Our style of football is attacking, but against those teams, when they have a lot of gunpowder going forward, you need to stay alert, because they have players who can be very quick on the counter attack if you lost the ball. Like Robinson on Robinson too. Actually, if Rolls is not fit, I think also Ramsey can play in a more deeper role with Wintle, because he's not that fast again. He was never fast, but now trust me, I've seen him playing in Italy. He's not. His injuries have slowed him down a bit, I think. And he has struggled to find his pace, his level in recent seasons. So I think you can also play with Wintle and Ramsey, and you can play with Robinson as a second striker and Ugbo up front, because you have Robinson. Robinson can do that, can drop, move a lot, and try to find movement around the proper number 9. The average fans used to call him CR7, the real one, when he played for Rhino with the number 7. So they have good options. I'm also curious to see how this manager Errol Bulut copes with the new league, because it's always interesting when a foreign manager comes into the league to see how he.
And on Aaron Ramsey as well, I didn't mention him too much in this key strengths, but he will be a key strength in them. He has, from what the Wickham highlights I saw, he has lost his legs. He didn't have a lot of running in him, but he created 2 or 3 open chances in the game with one pass. So if he's playing, I'd prefer it to be Ampadu to be his man. He's got to be spot on. I know they're obviously mates, played in Wales together, but he's got to be his worst enemy that day. He's got to be spot on, because what we can't allow, like you said, Andre, we can't allow these teams to get the ball to the wingers or into Robinson or whoever's in that hole, because they're quick and direct, and they will be able to beat our wingers, our fullbacks in 1v1s. So yeah,
especially, I'm just thinking there, Carlon Grant eats Ayling for breakfast in that respect, doesn't he, if we're being totally honest, especially when you consider how this is the key point, and what we've seen throughout pre-season is Luke Ayling's going to play so high up, and it's going to be on Archie Gray to fill in there, or Shackleton, whoever it is. Now, if it does manage to go to Joe Rolls and they go out to the left or right, then there's probably going to be space in there for them 100%. More so than there is on the left. Do you know what I mean?
And O'Dowda as well likes to attack.
True.
There is a situation. I didn't go through it in the game because it would be here forever, but they do actually play inverted sometimes as well, where the left back will tuck in and the winger, the centre backs will split, and then the winger will be right high up. But yeah, let's hope we don't have to deal with that.
The Irish players are good. They have good Irish players. O'Dowda, Robinson, and. Also, another fun fact, they are a team from the capital of Wales, but we probably have more Welsh players in the starting lineup than them.
That's true.
That's true. We just, to be honest, we've just got to be good at what we're good at. We've got to be good at the movement, the press, being aggressive, positional play, finding the right passes at the right time, and be patient. And we should win this game. If we give them anything, they will see it and they will go for it. So we've got to be us. We've got to play for the crowd as well. We've got to be aggressive at times. There might be times where 10 minutes where they have the ball and we're just sitting in our shape and soaking it up. Fine with that. But at the times when we have the ball, we have to be dominant and we've got to dominate the play. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice, mate. Thank you for that. Are we?
That's it. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, good.
That's
No, that
Cardiff.
was great. Honestly, really enjoyed that, mate. Because that's like an insight for me as well. You can hear it from fan, but when you see it like that with graphics, etc., it's really cool. And like I say, folks, you make sure you check out Lockie's channel, Lockie Leeds, because there's a lot of other stuff like that as well. When we're looking at player profiles, etc., so it's the perfect place for him to showcase his skills. But also, if you want some more of that, which I've seen a lot of love in the comments, then go over and check some of that. Except
Also, as well, just
watching
on that,
videos.
I apologize if some clips are a bit, some pictures are a bit blurry. Like, obviously, we can't show the video, which would be ideal. We can't do that, so I have to like screenshot at the perfect time. So yeah, it can get a bit confusing sometimes.
It's totally fine. Right, so let's swing it then and have a look how we shall we go into how we line up, how we're gonna how the team that we expect to line up against Cardiff that's gonna get us 3 points and cause them problems. So
can you switch me to the other side? I don't like it over it. I feel weird.
Really? Is it usually on red a little bit?
Yeah. Welcome to the Just Lucky Football Show.
I was like, oh.
Then you would shit yourself. Right, before we do though, Darren Smith with a super sticker, big up to you. We've also had, this is a first time, so I normally get quite a lot of stick for this when people say to me, Joe, you've got member chat, and it's not like a super chat, it's just when someone's like got a birthday and a membership, but I never get them on StreamYard. However, this is the first time I've seen one, so it looks like StreamYard might have fixed that issue. Rad's Music's always having a go at me for it, so if he's watching, you'll be happy to know. Because I know some people that'll say like 18 months membership, and that's something to be celebrated, to be fair. But listen, Darren Smith, member for 1 month, says, evening, guys, late to the stream, just finished work. I predict 3-1 to Leeds. And I also predict that. But we'll yeah, I've gone too early, but we'll chat about it in a bit. Right, let's pull up this graphic then. Just bear with me 1 moment and I'll share my screen so you can all see it.
Also, shout out to the people in the comments for showing support. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, man, it was class. Can you all see that fine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great stuff. So let's talk then. First of all, let's go with the goalkeeper.
The formation, Joe, I think.
Sorry. Yeah, formation. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let me go here. I'm assuming we're going to go 4-2-3-1. Yeah.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Cool. Do you want to do the kits as well? Pick main color white. Should we put a bit?
White again.
A bit blue. Yeah.
White. Yeah. Are we happy?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Right. Number 1 then. Now let's go through this. Are you surprised that it's going to be Melia? Because I am. Not now. Not after seeing pre-season. But if you'd have asked me before pre-season if Melia would have started in goal, even when we were linked to Darlow before he actually signed, I'd be like, well, it's going to be Darlow. But based on the presser, Daniel Farke said if he's fit, he's going to be number 1. So are you surprised at that, folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially after how we finished last season, saying that when someone says that he would like to move to Chelsea and if the opportunity arises, but just if he's going to be the number 1, it sounds like he's a player who knows that offers will come in and he will leave. But offers didn't come in after he performed badly last season, and especially after he didn't play. Because I think the pivotal point for him was the fact he didn't play at the under 21 Euros, which were supposed to be his breakout tournament. He didn't play, and he had to restart from the scratch at Leeds. And of course, he was a starter in pre-season because we seen Clyson is a player who still needs a lot to develop.
Rubbish.
He needs to develop with his feet. He needs to develop overall. But I'm surprised, honestly. And my general opinion on that is that, of course, we still have one loan non-spot
international,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if they brought the Dallo in, I don't think Dallo has moved to Leeds to be the number 2 because he had the similar offer at Bournemouth. So I think, especially because Adams, Harrison, they have release clause, but monetary release clause. So we can be the other players realistically going out on loan with not just release clause on loan clauses, but just a straight loan, you know. So I think the best option, because eventually for me Dallo will become the number 1 because it's a player who has Daniel Farke written all over him in terms of his style of goalkeeping, his ball movement with his feet, his ball distribution. So I think the realistic scenario for me will be Dallo number 1 in the future, and Meslier, if an opportunity arises before the end of the window, will go out on loan probably. If not, if an offer doesn't come for him, probably from a French League One club. But yeah, for me tomorrow he'll be the one starting because in pre-season he's been the one starting, and Dallo has just arrived before the Arts game. So right now we'll start with Meslier, but then we'll change to Dallo if the right opportunity comes for Meslier, you know.
And I think
go on, mate.
I was just going to say as well, Meslier has done it in the Championship.
Yeah.
In a side who plays a passing style of football from the back, so he has done it. Let's not when he finally came into the side under Bielsa, he was very good. He was very good. So we know obviously last year was terrible, but new beginning. You know, if Daniel Farke's decided to go with him, I think with Dallo coming slightly later, maybe he doesn't understand fully the movements of the centre backs, you know, to pass it to and stuff like that. Yeah, that might take a few weeks, but right now I'm all right with it. Personally, I don't agree with what he said. He didn't need to mention Chelsea. He should have just said, move on, I'm a Leeds player, whatever. That's annoying, but I just hope he does well because I don't want our keepers to play bad, you know.
Do you know what I think is worth considering as well? That, you know, and the Athletic have run a piece on Maresca and Leicester. Obviously, I've seen it because Locks wanted to flex his muscles in our group chat. But basically, Maresca had said that 6 players who originally wanted to leave had actually come to him and said they're up for staying now at Leicester.
Right.
Now, there's an Athletic piece on that, but I think there might be a little bit of that at Leeds United with someone like Meslier, though, having been dropped at the end of the season, like Andrea said. He's obviously not started at the under-21s, but then a manager's come in. He's basically giving, because for me, if there was a chance, and I still think he might go if an offer comes, I do believe that. But with the style of play that we're going to adopt in the Championship, I don't know if Meslier could maybe have a change of heart just because of the lack of offers, the style of, you know, there's a load of different things you've got to factor in that do you know what, they might be happy with keeping him around. And I, as a fan, won't mind it either. I don't think any of us are sitting here saying Meslier is a poor goalkeeper for the Championship because he's not.
He's not.
You know, Liam saying Mez is useless. He's not. He's not useless. He had a bad time. We had a shocking defence, a shocking manager, shocking team. It is what it is. But he's still a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the ball distribution for me. It's just the ball distribution. Carlo is more suited to the style of play that Falco will adopt, you know. And we'll need to, of course, looking at the movement right now, we had loan fees. Okay. We had just 3 million coming in from Rodrigo Rori's clause, and the Salon clause from Caprile moving from Bari to Napoli. I think, especially if we retain some players like Gnonto or Adams or Harrison, we are sure they have release clauses. I think if that's the case, and an opportunity arises for Media, we have 2 number ones. Only one of them can stay for me, because the other one will be unhappy. The other one will be unhappy for me. So we'll need, for me, to clarify will be the number 1 before the end of the window. I think going through August we'll have both players, but my personal opinion is that only one will be here at the end of the month, and that will be Dallo for me.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I don't disagree long term, but I think we're all good with him starting. Let's go on the right then. Obviously, unfortunately, no one tended to press Daniel Farker on the injury to Cody Drama, because we know that he missed the last couple of games of pre-season due to injury. We heard about the striker position, of course, but right back. Where's everyone's heads at? I mean, had Cody have featured, I'd have said it's up for debate, but I just think because of his injury, Luke Ayling will remain at right back. Does anyone disagree?
No, I agree, and his thing is with Cody, right? He's obviously a talented player. Obviously, like we all know that. No one's denying that. But from what I've personally seen him at Leeds, whenever he played in the Premier League, he did struggle. I don't care who the winger was, whether they were really good or not. That's the level, and he didn't have it, did he? He didn't have the level. Championship, he's done well, right? He's been fine. I did watch Luton last year a few times. He wasn't their best player. He didn't stand out. He did a fine job, right? Nothing extravagant, nothing terrible. Did a fine job. Luke Ayling has been playing well pre-season.
Yeah, you can't leave him out. You can't leave him out.
Exactly. He's been fine for me, and I don't know if when Cody's back, that's down for him then to fight for his place. Simple as that.
Agreed.
If he thinks he's good enough, show it to Daniel Farker, and he won't hesitate.
I'll say with Chest, I haven't seen Cody at Luton. I haven't seen Cody at Cardiff. I've heard about Cody at Luton. Yeah. I've heard about Cody at Cardiff. But my point is, I've seen Luke. And you know I'm an apologist of this old guard, as people like to call them, but coincidentally, they're the only ones that still want to be here. I mean, it is what it is, but we move. We only ever hear good things about them, though, apart from our own fans. But what I'll say is, I agree with Lockie, and I'll say I'll never forget bloody Cody Drama's debut against Martinelli and against us. He got absolutely murdered. I was like, there has been a murder. For 45 minutes, the lad got murdered. Yeah, I mean, it was, it was. Don't get me wrong, it was, but the team was gashed that night, and it was the beginning of the end for Bielsa. But I don't know. Whenever I've seen him, I've not been enamoured really. But yeah, it is what it is. Any thoughts on that, Andrea? Because I know Lockie said what I said, but not as brutal.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, because honestly, there's a player in Drama. He has a good technique. He's always been considered a good talent. He has been probably pushed and overhyped a bit from certain environments, especially related to transfers. Especially there's always been links to top clubs in Europe,
Dortmund and Newcastle.
Yeah, Dortmund and Newcastle. But, he's been good with Cardiff. He's always won their player of the season, playing 6 months there. But looking at Luton, I think we should remind ourselves that Luton were a miracle last season. Yeah, they did a miracle, not just finishing in the playoffs, but winning the playoffs. And honestly, if they really trusted him, they would have knocked back and tried to get him permanently from Leeds.
Yeah.
Looking at the type of player they brought in, Tai Chong, Okbene, players from the Championship, because they don't have much money to spend, so they're trying to bring into the Premier League players from the Championship.
Yeah, they've already filled their fullback positions, haven't they? Yeah. Because I've stuck one of them in my Kabar, I think, or something he's called.
Yeah, not Konate probably, but
no,
the other one.
Kabar. I'll tell you, because he's in my fantasy Premier League team as a 4 million cheap one, so I can get some of the
Cabore.
They've already filled their fullback positions, haven't they? So
yeah, exactly. But I agree with you. For me, it's just a player that's got stock. He advances with the ball. He doesn't attack. He struggles with the position in defending. He's really good with his passing. Yeah. He's a organized player, because it gives you balance. But he doesn't show you that spark right now. That you see, oh, look at that player. It's just ordinary at this moment. But there's a player in there, and I think staying at Leeds would be the best choice for him. Of course, under Farke, I think Farke can transform him and make him a fully attacking fullback, because he has the legs, he has the pace. He can be transformed into that. Is that type of player right now? No, he's not, because he doesn't overlap well. He doesn't underlap well. sometimes when he has one-on-one, he's very good, because it's very good when he has a situation where he has to tackle. In terms of positioning, sometimes he struggles where to be. He struggles where to find out where he needs to be, and he gets caught out. So I think Farke will be the best manager to develop him. But right now, I agree. I start Ayling all day long, even if Dama is fit, because I think Ayling deserves to start, looking at what he's shown in preseason.
100%. Let's go on to the other side. Then we'll go to left fullback. It's a toss up between two. We'd have all gone Leo, I think, but obviously Byram got his new deal. It was announced. You know me, I'm an emotional dude. I'd be like, listen, give it Byram. But what? I'll let you come to this decision. It's a difficult one, because I think they both offer slightly different things for me.
I think first game at home, I think it might be Sam Byram. I don't. Go on, Andrea. I'm not sure.
I think it would be Yelda instead.
Okay.
So we didn't agree on that, and I explain you why very, very quickly. I'll start with Byram, honestly, but I think he'll play Yelda because he needs to be more balanced, looking at the fact they have very attacking wingers, and Yelda can help going forward the midfielders. We've seen that he moves forward, but in certain situations he drops back, and it's like a third midfielder when we are in possession with the centre back. So that's why I think it's start with Yelda for me. But in my mind, my idea of football would be the two attacking fullbacks. So I'll play with Ayling and Byram, but looking at the specific situation here, I think you go with Yelda Farke.
Yeah. I think that's what I was saying, Andrea. They both offer slightly different things, and for me, I would say that Byram is the more expansive one of the two. And tends to go wider than what we've seen from Hjelde. Hjelde likes to tuck in more so. But I think I prefer Byram personally, and just seeing return as well. I'd love nothing more. But should we go with Leo? With Leo?
Yeah, actually, I think Byram right now might just be at a start. The first game of the season starting might be a little bit of a stretch potentially. Yeah.
But there's nothing. I think them two, a bit like Ayling and Cody, they genuinely either could start every week and we won't be shocked. I think they're both of a decent enough level on both flanks for me, where we'd go, I can't believe he's dropped him for him. It's a case of, they're both very similar. Either can start. Do you know? I think that's what we'd all say. Right, we've only got 3 centre-backs, and I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree Cooper's starting because he's as captain, right? So we'll put him in the number 3, and then I guess this is up for debate because I've got my thoughts, but I'll let go on, Andrea. You go first. Who starts on the right hand side?
Well, there's two options here because, of course, if Ugbo plays, is basically 186 centimeters, who's all right in your measurement, because I struggle with that. Is 6'1",
Big lad.
So we'll need a physical centre back, but looking at the fact they have fast wingers too, I think we need a more pacey centre back. So if you want the pacey option to deal with their wingers, that will of course move centrally, a lot of them, and also if they play with Robinson as the second striker, there'll be a lot of pace going forward from them. I'll go with Struijk. If you need the centimeters and the 8 to constant and take Cookbo, because of course one of the two centre backs, with them playing with one number 9, will need to take we need to mark the number 9, and they have a proper number 9, a tall physical one. So if that's the case, I go with Cresswell, honestly.
The interesting thing is, right, I think he's favoured Struijk in pre-season at right centre-back. And a lot of people, rightly so, said, but Joey's been given the number 5 shirt, he'll have been given assurances. No one's guaranteed minutes, folks. I will say that much. We can say, we'd like, but you've still got to earn your place. This isn't charity, you know what I mean? But I think he'll go Struijk. I do think he'll go Struijk. And those that are saying Pascal has no pace, Pascal's got more pace than what Creswell's got. is what Andrea's saying.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, if he decides to play Cresswell, looking at the fact that you need pace and you need a defensive-minded player, because he's a defensive-minded player. He can even go with Cresswell on the centre back and Strauch on the left back again.
I also think Pascal's passing's underrated as well. I think he's quite good. Progressive.
Yeah, he's
both
good.
Both feet as well.
Both feet.
But Cresswell is more physical, in order to go with a physical number 9, and he's good with his headers. He's good with the older player. So we need a physical one in that specific position. And of course, if it comes down to the physical battle between Strauch and Aaron Cooper and Ugbo is more physical than both of them. So with that specific for that specific reason, I go with Strauch too, because I think Cooper and Strauch cope very well with the passing too. Because Strauch on the right, he can pass very well with his left foot and right foot too. But just because they have that physical number 9, tall, strong on headers and strong on aerial balls, I go with Cresswell, to be fair.
Just before we settle on that right centre back, a lot of people keep saying it'll be Cresswell Strauch. I disagree completely. That's what people are saying. That's what I mean. Do you see any situation in which Daniel Farke says, Cooper, you're not playing, even because he needs that experience in there? There's not a chance, is there?
Every centre back pre-season has looked better when
Cooper's next.
Cooper's been next one. That's just they've looked much better. So Cooper's starting. I know people don't like that. He's our leader on that pitch. Whether people say he's or not, he is 100%.
100%. Ciao, Mark. Just for those mentioning the Wales flag, I don't know, speak to YouTube. That's been an issue before. For whatever reason, when people put the Wales flag in the chat, it turns black. I don't know why. So speak to YouTube. It's not me. Don't worry. I'm not. Colin says anti-Welsh. I'm not. I'm not making that. Speak to YouTube. All right.
We love Ampadu.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's 3 of us, right? So I'm going Strauch. Andrea, you're going Cresswell?
Cresswell, yeah.
The deciding vote is with you, Lockie.
Let's get the music of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire right now.
You're going Strauch?
Yeah.
You're going Strauch.
That's tough, that one. Strauch. That is really tough.
It is. I think, yeah. We'll see, though. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if Cresswell started. Right, in the number 7, even though it won't... the numbers are all over the shop, but I can't be asked changing them. Okay, so, how many fit midfielders have we got? We've got Gray, we've got Shackleton, we've got Ampadu, we've got Darko JB.
Bait.
And Lewis Bate as well. But yeah, like I say, he won't play. I think we're all agreeing Ampadu goes in. It's who partners him, right? So we'll 100%. We put Ampadu in. Who then go on? I'll start with you this time, Lockie. Who partners Ampadu?
Based on pre-season and performance in that, Archie Gray for me. I've been impressed with him. He's grown into pre-season. I think the partnership they've got in pre-season together has been very good. Good balance, different attributes. Archie Gray is very good at going forward with the ball as well as defensively. Darko JB has not done enough in pre-season for me to warrant a start. Option to come off the bench, that's fine. But in terms of that progression, I think it's going to be Archie Gray.
Yeah. Do you agree, Andrea?
I agree, and I'll play Gray too. And I think he'll be one of the crucial players on the pitch tomorrow, especially looking at the pressing that we've seen. Joe, the number 8.
Oh, sorry, it's because of the numbers, man. Playing him left wing.
I think he will. I think he will have a great game tomorrow, and I'm gonna also predict. We'll talk about that later. But I have a feeling he's gonna score too. To be fair, but I think it'd be crucial because we need a player with Ampadu pressed can progress with the ball. And I think Gray has that in him. So I think for me, it's a no-brainer to start him alongside Ampadu in midfield because he can progress with the ball and break the pressing too.
Yeah.
I think he's looked the best dropping in at right back as well, even more so over Shackleton for me. When Ayling's been tasked with going forward, and I genuinely can't wait for the rest of the league to see this kid in action and then realise, oh shit, they've got a player. Do you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. It's like, oh, who's he? Who's he? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. From the outside looking in, they'll be like, "Who's this?" And then we'll see him play, and it'll be like,
he'll
play,
play really well. He'll get a move.
Yeah.
He'll get a move to Dortmund, and we'll retire his number by the end of the season.
Definitely, definitely. Right, okay. So that's his midfield.
Yeah.
Should we? Right, we'll do both wingers. They're pretty interchangeable, aren't they? Right. Yeah. So we've got left and right. I tell you what, let's go with the two names that we think. I think it'll be James and Cini. That's my two. Dan James left, Cini right, but again they can switch. Andrea?
James and Cini, James left and Cini right, just like usual.
Yeah. And what about you, Lockie?
James on the left, Cini on the right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've probably had the most minutes in pre-season as well in the wing spots, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. James has played every game, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's going to put quite a lot of emphasis on him. And do you know what? Right, as much as I batter James at time because his balls. Pause. That sounds a bit weird. His balls. His final balls did seem to improve in some of the games, and then on another occasion, he can't trap wind. He's just he's a championship player for me. That's why
I saw Teller hit one in top corner yesterday, and then in second half, saw him hit one at corner flag. So
that's a good point. Exactly. But Teller didn't even get that goal, did he? It was Adam Armstrong, wasn't it? Yeah. Which won me a bet because I had Adam Armstrong anytime over 2.5 and over 2 yellow cards for the Wednesday players, which was good. So I couldn't believe they gave him the goal, to be honest. But there you go.
But by the way, in the chat, Colin is going through all the flags to see.
To see. Does anyone know what flag that is?
It can be. No, not Dominica.
No, I don't have a clue.
I don't know.
I genuinely don't have
It's a Caribbean one. Is
it? I genuinely don't know.
Let's see.
I genuinely don't know what flag that. I'm normal. Do you
Here
know
we
what,
go.
Right?
Dominica. I was gonna say
it's Dominica.
Yeah, there you go.
Dominica.
Bloody hell.
That's the one thing, that I used football for as a kid growing up. I mean, I don't know if it was the same for you, but I used to have sticker books and all that sort of stuff. And I'm terrible at geography. But if you put flags in front of me, normally I can tell where they are because I was
FIFA
used to footballers
well.
being FIFA as well. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, bam, bam. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. Right, okay. These two positions are genuinely up for contention. I think in the 10, it's probably a toss-up between Joffy and Somerville based on pre-season performances and where they've been asked to be played. Andrea, thoughts on the number 10? Or do you disagree? Is there another one that might play in there?
These two, and I think he'll play Somerville based on what we've seen in pre-season. I think when he played in the number 10.
Well, there's Poveda as well. Sorry, I forgot about Poveda. My bad.
Yeah, but I think he'll start with Somerville. Also, Poveda, he can be adopted there, but I think it can be an option for the wingers, especially from the bench. For me, start Somerville because when he played in that position, I think it was against Monaco. Yeah, it was against Monaco. He dropped better, I think, than Gellert against Forest. For me, looking at the type of football, we'll need more physicality for me. So it can be a good occasion with Gellert. But looking at the number 10, I think Gellert is not a player. He needs to be more near the final third. If it affects his football, the fact that he'll need to drop back to get the ball from the two midfielders, and I think Somerville is more suited to that. I think Gellert is more a player like a second striker who need to stay in the final third, and we need a player who can drop back a little bit more like Somerville. But again, we're talking about a striker, a winger adapted, Poveda to a winger adapted. We'll need a number 10. Bring us a number 10.
So Cree Somerville for you. I think I agree with that as well. Lockie, your thoughts on the number 10? Could you see Pervada being given a start?
Hey, you never know, do you? You never know.
No, you don't.
He might have trained really well, but I just pre-season he's played Somerville there, hasn't he? Started him in 3 of the games, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to be honest, watching Southampton yesterday, looking at their wingers, I know he's not playing on the wing, but that type of player in there, whether he's perfect for the system or not, I agree. He needs to be more physical. He needs a different type of player, but he's still going to cause massive issues, isn't he?
Because I'm just great point. Because I look at City, Nonto, Harrison, Somerville. They can all do what Teller and Adozi can do every 100%. Day of the week and more. Yeah. And more.
Jack Harrison got 10, 15 goals in the Premier League in 3 years in a row.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Don't worry about it, people.
They can, apparently, they can do what Mavididi does for Leicester, probably.
We'll see. Yeah, I've told Locks Coventry will beat them tomorrow, but he won't have it.
I agree.
He's not having it.
2-1.
Yeah, I think they'll beat them, mate, honestly.
Mark that. Team's brace.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Right, Cree. We're going Cree, aren't we? Right.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Do you know what? We've got no options, but it's still one of the hardest things to predict.
But let's just quickly ask this question. If everyone was fit, who would be starting there, first and foremost? Lockie.
If everyone was fit, I still think he starts Bamford.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Andrea?
Bamford. Yeah.
I think, right, okay, that's cool. I think we'd have all been okay with it. We know we need improvements, but I think we'd be fine. But as we know, we've got no Rutter, we've got no Bamford, and we've got no Mateo Joseph, right? So there's none. So options, I guess you could play Nonto in there. You could throw Sonny Perkins in, even though he's barely played. You've got Willie Nonto. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Even Dan James, God forbid, but James has played there before under Bielsa, under Jesse. So we've seen
Greenwood is injured too.
Greenwood's injured.
We're not forgotten.
We've not even started yet, and we've got no play.
He's injured. Again.
Where's Harrison? Oh yeah, he's injured as well, isn't
he?
So you know what? Perkins, I don't know why Perkins and Bate weren't involved in preseason, but probably Perkins got some games with the under 23s, was it? Yeah. I think Bate should have got games for them too, because honestly, Bate could have been a good option in preseason. Also, because he played a more advanced position for Oxford, and he's a player who
I thought he looked good against Man United as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He looked good.
Yeah, exactly. So it could have been a good option too, especially looking at the lack of players that we have in midfield and number 10 on that.
He might just
not be
up to it in training.
Not for the strikers, for midfield.
Not for the
I think
who's obviously we know Bamford's not fit though. So tomorrow, who leads the line?
Nyonto for me.
Does he?
Yeah.
I've changed to Nyonto recently. Last few days.
Yeah, despite it's not his position, because when he played there for Italy, he struggled. But looking at the fact that he already played there, he's just the only one who already played there. And I think looking at the fact that they have 2 tall centre backs, and they will try to crowd the area in front of us. We need a versatile, movable striker. Yeah. Looking at the fact we don't have a physical one, so we need a player who has space and will move a lot in the final third. Try to move one of the 2 centre backs out of the line to find space for the central cast of the wingers or the number 10 for me.
Yeah,
and I think can be that player.
I think when I see Joffe, my issue with him up top is he's too isolated up there. He doesn't drop enough. He sits too much. He tries to fight with the guys in the air. Like I said earlier on, fluid movement. Nonto will find space. He will create problems with his pace, his movement. But does Farker want to start him because he's not been played in pre-season? That's
the thing, isn't it?
That can be the reason for not starting. Yeah. But especially if he starts, we'll have beaten the diktat, the order from his agent, who in that interview said he cannot play in the championship if he plays tomorrow. he will play in the championship tomorrow, at least tomorrow.
Yeah, Farker's for that reason.
I will put Nonto in there, but I've got a feeling he'll go Joffy. Just because we've seen him. We've barely seen Nonto, but
He likes Joffy, doesn't he? He plays him a lot.
Yeah. I think he does. But right. I think we'll settle on that lineup. I'll share that out on social media and stuff. What we're going to do, folks, we are going to finish up soon because we've gone an hour and a half, and we will try trim these down, but they're going to take time, like I say, because it is a real deep dive. But let's finish on score prediction and first goal scorer. Now, if you get the correct score, you get, what should we say, 3 points. If you get goal scorer and correct score, you get 5, right? No correct result, because 9 times out of 10, we're all going to pick Leeds, right? Yes. So you've got to get bang on the correct score for 3. And if you get the goal scorer as well as, you get 5. And we'll run this throughout.
All the goal scorers or just one?
No, just the first. We'll just go the first. But we'll go first.
Go lucky.
Right. I hate doing score predictions. I actually hate them.
And it's first Leeds goal scorer. So let's say, for example, it's 3-1 and Ramsey scored first, but then you picked Harrison and he did score first for Leeds. You're still allowed that one, right?
Okay. 3-1 Leeds. First goal scorer. I'm going to go rogue here. Liam Cooper from a corner.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that deserves 10 points. If that happens, I tell you. Go on, Andrea.
For me, 3-1. For me too. First goal scorer will be Archie Gray, and I think the other 2 will be Sean and Cooper.
Nice,
but the first one will be great, and for that Ramsey. But the first one.
Imagine the scenes if Archie Gray scores. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
He score. I'm
going to go 3-1 as well. Ooh. Just on this, I don't know if you're aware, but the last 3 seasons in the Championship, Leeds United have started every season with a 3-1 win. All right, so there's history on that. Okay, so I'm going to go 3-1 as well, and I do think Cardiff will score first, but for Leeds United, I'm going to go Cine. I'm going to go Cine. Yeah.
One of them where it just cuts in and hits it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, through bodies.
Just hits it, doesn't it? Just hits it.
Pick that out. Yeah. So that's our score predictions. Jason says Cardiff are a bogey team. Yeah, listen, we haven't had a clean sheet in 7 against Cardiff, so they will score.
It'll be a tough game.
Yeah, it will be tough. But if we score early, first 20 minutes, I think we'll be totally fine. I think we'll go to town on them. But yeah, let's wait and see. Listen, before the Leeds United game, you can enjoy Leicester get beat by Coventry. So watch that. Yeah. I'll be live from 1:30. Obviously when the lineups are announced on the watch along. So make sure you join me for that. I think the Leicester game will still be playing at that time, so we can watch a bit of that while we talk about the Leeds United lineup because it's all on Sky. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Honestly, to these 2 again, thanks as always for joining me. Make sure you show them some love. Lockie Leeds, link should be in the description. I'm trying to think if I did it earlier on. If it's not, I'll put it in. And Andrea over on Twitter. You know where they are now anyway. They're like pieces of furniture on the Just Joe football show. We will be back at Shrewsbury Wednesday, will we? We'll sort something out. It's going to be, it's like game and then 2 days and then another game. So we will sort something out though. You will hear from us before that because we've got final word Monday night and then we'll probably do something similar Tuesday for this, but maybe not so much of a deep dive because who watches Shrewsbury? I don't know. Anybody? I don't know. But yeah. Big up. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, and no doubt Leeds will as well at some point. Peace out now, folks. Bye-bye.